Luckily, today it's blowing the wrong direction. Today it's blowing away from us.
It was like as dark as our windscreen.
Right? I always say, just gotta get by. Huh?
Listen, we're not coming back.
No.
Not yet. How I feel about today.
Are HTML stats updated online? Okay. I just didn't know both the XML or the HTML.
I did generate views yesterday, so I can send that to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's take that.
I meant to send it to you between games.
It's fine. Well, we kind of got rained on for 2 hours. What's that?
Should we put their battle yesterday in our blooper reel?
We should.
Great idea. So all I need to do to get me feel better is listen to some good music that I can sing to.
That's good.
Dad kept calling me like on my drive home yesterday. He's like, "Are you okay? You're electrocuted. Are you okay to drive?" He called me like 3 times. Like he's asleep and he like called me on my way down. Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. It's like the weirdest feeling.
It's happened to me once, and that's the best way to describe it. It's really weird.
It's just like it hurts, but it's like a weird hurt. No. My dad said it happened to him before. He said he was at Harvard giving a speech, and the kid with the microphone electrocuted him. I was like,
Wow.
how did that happen? It was like it was raining outside. He was like, we were inside, but everybody was like trapped in the water, and like the microphone, like the cord had like a short or something.
How many people died last night, Naomi?
3 were transported. I thought you meant 3 actually died. I was like, oh my god. But no, the worst part is it was so annoying. We had a person just for transports, and they were supposed to assign other people to do just transports. They didn't. So we still had to go on transports. Yeah, it kind of wore off a bit. I got like an actual tattoo. I was like, okay. It wore off. Rachel did, so I was like, is that Rachel get tattoos? Oh, she's had one. No, she just got one yesterday. It's like right there. Oh, wait, a real one? Yeah. She had like bandaged, and then she waited to get 15 minutes. I was like, okay. And then like the entire every time I looked over, she was like, ow. Like taking pictures of it, and she's like, I'm like, Rachel, stop. She's like, it doesn't look right. So I'm like, because you're looking at it upside down. Yeah. No, it doesn't look right. I'm like, you're looking at it upside down. It's like it was like a sun or a moon inside of a hand. Holding it. She's like, it looks like it's on its fingertips, right? I was like, no, it looks like it's actually holding the sun. No, but you're like, I'm looking at it upside down. That sounds like it. But I was like, every time I look over. Yeah, but we were supposed to go on 3 set of rounds. And we got transport right before our second set. So we did our first set at 10. We were like, we're not going to be able to go back to our rooms because the second set's 11:30. So we went to Camp Carnival. The worst part about it is they usually give us like 15 to 20 minutes after a transport has happened so they can be processed. They didn't do that. So we were there. Literally as soon as they were being like taken to be transported, we got dispatched. So we waited an hour in the hospital just to talk with them. We missed our second set. Then when we came back, Kappa was over. We got back on campus at 1 a.m. And so we had to go on our last set. So we went into campus safety. We just chugged black coffee in plastic cups. We're like, okay, let's go. And then Kappa Carnival was over. the people were migrating on Capitol Hill, so we thought they were going to try and do a party. So we went over. Then we stopped because we were on the bleachers. Turns out, though, we stopped right where the sprinklers were going. So we got drenched. And then that was just expensive in itself. And then we had to finish our rounds. So we got off at 2:30-ish, 2:40 in the morning. Yeah.
You almost had to transport me last night.
For what?
I got electrocuted.
How? Are you okay?
It rained, so we had like a 3-hour rain delay.
Yeah.
We had everything covered, but like the microphone got wet, and I didn't realize that I could pick it up.
Oh my god, that's
It wasn't left enough to be like exaggeration.
because it's still scary.
Yeah.
It was just like a very weird.
Yeah. Especially metal seats with that too.
I don't know, but like, 'cause this is metal, I don't know if that like conducted it more,
Might have.
Maybe.
and that's why it went like all the way.
Well,
up.
Logan got it too. He said when he
But he said his just like in his fingertips. I don't know.
he
if,
also
like,
used he just also used his finger to pump to push up the
mine was full hand.
connection.
I was like, I don't know, like if like this conducted,
It
it's
probably
like
did
it's all the way
connect.
up here, like where it's still it like hurt more up here than anything.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if that conducted.
Probably. That coach is really small. That's saying something for me.
That's all I'm thinking.
Then I get on the field like, no problem. Then again,
Those taillights.
I know. Makes me happy.
He's ready.
Good afternoon once again. Welcome back to the Turley Athletic Complex for an unexpected final day of the season for Eckerd baseball. This one finishing a postponement from yesterday when the back end of doubleheader was postponed after a 2-hour rain delay. Tarp came off the field, but apparently there was a hole in the tarp and created quite the mess in front of home plate, between the mound and home plate, that made the field conditions there unplayable, so we pushed it off to today for a 1 p.m. start. There is rain in the forecast right now as well. There's several cells popping up around us out to the east, but yesterday they moved to the west. Today they have been moving north-northeast, so we'll hope that'll continue. We'll be able to get this one in without any incident. Yes, sort of jinxed it. Not on the air, but off the air. We've been talking all year about how we have had an entire season of baseball, and softball for that matter, without any weather delays or postponements. Only had one game moved in softball due to weather, but that was done a couple of days ahead of time in anticipation of weather that was to come. So coming into the last game of the season, we finally had our first rain delay and subsequent postponement of the season. Hopefully that won't follow. Looking at a radar now, again, all these cells that are out to the east of us right now are moving out to the northeast away from us. So for now, at least, that's a good sign. Spartans will go for the sweep today. They won the opener on Friday, 9-0. And then the first game of the doubleheader that didn't finish yesterday, 16-3. With that 16-3 win, the Spartans clinched the Sunshine State Conference Championship. They're third in a row and 19th overall. So now we'll see if the Tritons can take the final game of the series and end the year on a victory. Just about through the announcement of the starting lineups for Tampa and Eckerd. And with that, we'll break away for the national anthem. Come back and set the starting lineups for you here from the Turley Athletic Complex on the Triton Sports Network. Robin Allen on the hill for the Tritons in the final game of the season. The sophomore from Orlando making his 13th start of the season, 15th appearance overall, record of 4-4 with a 6.49 ERA. 61 innings pitched. He's allowed 59 hits, 49 runs, 44 earned, 35 walks, and he struck out 59. Opponents hitting 251 against him. And he'll face a Spartan lineup that's almost identical to what it's been the first two games, save for a couple of positions in the batting order that have flipped. Nick DeTringo again leads things off, followed by Drew Ehrhardt. Darren Miller, who reached base safely in his first 10 plate appearances of the season, and his 10 of the series rather, and is 8 for 9 in the series, will bat third. Harrison Bragg moves from the number 5 hole to the cleanup spot. Danny Servin moves from the cleanup spot to the number 5 hole, so he and Bragg flip spots in the batting order in this last game. Connor Kreil, the designated hitter, he bats 6th. Stephen Smith hits 7th. Richie Rivera 8th. And Brandon Galley, who had a 6 RBI performance yesterday, bats 9th. Shane Bickle is the starting pitcher today for the Spartans. We'll run down his numbers in the bottom half of the inning. Spartans now 37-7 on the year and 25-1 in conference play. Their only loss in conference came in the final game of a 3-game series early in the season at Nova Southeastern. Allen took a no decision in his last start on Monday at St. Leo. Went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs on 3 hits, walked 5, struck out 2. His last win came on April 7th against Flagler here at the Turley Athletic Complex. Went 6 1/3, gave up 2 runs on 5 hits, struck out 7. Career high strikeouts is 9. That came against Rollins on March 24th. And he will face the right fielder, Nick DeTringo, hitting .355 with 7 home runs and 31 runs batted in as we get things underway. Here comes the first pitch from Allen. It's over but low for ball 1 as we are underway at 1:03. Game time temp of 81 degrees and cloudy. Feels like 86. Winds out of the northeast at 8 miles per hour. 1-0. This one catches the outside corner. Count even at 1-1. Eckerd defense has Torres at third, Acuff at short, Conti at second. Justin Glover back in the lineup today at first base. Mitch Calandra behind the plate. A hot shot to Torres at third. He scoops it out on the short hop and across to Glover at first for the first out of the inning. Nice play by Torres on a hard hit ball by Nick DeTringo. 1 gone. That'll bring in the second baseman, Drew Ehrhardt. Hitting .353 on the season, 3 home runs, 29 RBIs. Mitch Calandra behind the plate. And the outfield is Keith Levitt Jr. in left, Garrett Hyatt in center, and Jamal Chaney back in right. Bunt is shown, and a nice one laid down the third base line. Good play by Torres, just in time to get him for out number 2. A pair of assists for Torres here in the top half of the first inning. 2 down, bases empty for the dangerous Nick Miller, who has raised his batting average now to .372 during the series. 6 homers and 40 runs batted in. He's reached base safely in 10 of his 11 plate appearances, 8 for 9. Also walked twice. He'll come up here with the bases empty. The shortstop, Acuff, almost directly in the hole on the left side. Miller had a pair of singles through that hole yesterday. Also had a 3-run homer. I'm sorry, a solo homer. First pitch is swing and a miss, strike 1 on a fastball up and away. Galley had a 3-run home run yesterday, as did Danny Servin. Miller's was a solo shot leading off the 4th. Here's the 0-1. Fly ball into shallow left field. Acuff just in the grass, hauls it in for out number 3. So an easy 1-2-3 inning for Robin Allen in the top half of the first. We go to the bottom of the first. Tampa nothing. Eckerd coming to bat.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
Shane Bickle getting the start today for Tampa, making his first start of the season, 12th appearance, or 13th appearance rather, overall, record of 1-2. 2.36 ERA. He's gone 26 2/3 inning this season, given up 25 hits, 10 runs, 7 earned, walked 8, and struck out 27. Opponents hitting .253 against him. He's a senior, 6'1", 220, from Palm Beach, Florida, in his second season with the Spartans after he transferred from the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss, as it is more affectionately or commonly known. Career ERA of 3.24, 2.36 ERA this season. Averages just over a strikeout per inning. He'll face a Triton batting order that looks like this. Nick Conti leading things off. He's 5 for 7 rather in the series. Had a good series so far, followed by Garrett Hyatt, who moves up from the number 5 hole to the number 2 hole. Set the rest of it after this first pitch from Bickle. And as usual, Conti swinging early, swings and misses for strike one. Mitch Calandra hits third. Keith Levitt Jr. bats cleanup. Chase Acuff moves from number 2 to number 5 of the order. The designated hitter, Lee Master, bats 6. Here comes the 0-1. Breaking ball, and it falls in for strike 2. Brian Torres bats 7th. Justin Glover back in the lineup today. He hits 8th. And Jamal Chaney, after his 2-run homer yesterday, getting his second start of the series, he'll bat 9th. Conti now facing an 0-2 count against Bickle. Here's the pitch. On the outside corner, it's fouled off out of play. Spartans defensively have Danny Servin behind the plate, comprising the battery with Bickle. Miller's at third, Galley at short. Earhart at second, Bragg at first. The 0-2 on the way again to Conti. Rolls over a grounder right to Galley at short. Settles himself and across to Bragg at first for out number 1. Nick Catringo's in right. In center field, it's Richie Rivera. In left field is Steven Smith. That'll bring in Garrett Hyatt. Moving up to number 2 in the order today, hitting .333 on the season, 2 homers and 33 runs batted in. Tritons have had some troubles getting offense generated against Tampa in the series. Only 5 hits in both games. Nice bunt laid down the third base line. Miller picks up with his glove, instead of barehanding, but has no play as Hyatt beats out the infield single on a very nice bunt laid down the third base line. May see more of that than usual today because the infield grass in front of home plate still a little wet after all that rain that seeped through the tarp last night. No Hyatt aboard, his first hit of the series. That brings in Mitch Calandra. Calandra hitting .332, 2 homers, and 29 runs batted in. First pitch swing, it's a high fly ball into center field. Rivera drifting back, now coming back in the gap in right center and hauls it in for out number 2. Hyatt's hit only the 11th of the series for the Tritons. Eckerd had 5 hits in each of the first 2 games. Tampa last night had a season-high 19 hits in the 16-3 win. Brings in Keith Levitt Jr. with 2 outs and a runner at first. Levitt Jr. hitting .265, 8 homers and 32 runs batted in. First pitch from Bickle, chopped down the first base line, but foul for strike 1. This is the last game of the season for the Tritons, but it's not the final game of the season for Tampa. They still got a conference series next weekend with Florida Southern. Eckerd's bye weekend this year. One of them happened to fall on the last week of play. Hyatt on the move. Inside for a ball. Throw down, not in time as Hyatt swipes second base. His 12th steal of the season. That moves him in a scoring position. And a 1-1 count to Keith Levitt Jr. Well, the force now taken out of play. Center fielder Rivera shading a bit towards the pull side. Everybody else pretty well straight away. Ground ball chopped through the hole on the right side of the field. Hyatt's got the green light, and he will come around and score on the two-out RBI single by Keith Levitt Jr. Tritons have their first lead of the series at 1-0. 33rd RBI of the season for Levitt Jr. That ties him with Hyatt for the team lead. That'll bring in Chase Acuff, the shortstop, hitting .308 on the season with a homer and 28 RBIs. Runner going, throw down to second, is in time. Levitt Jr. cut down stealing, and that'll bring an end to the inning. But the Tritons do get on the board on the two-out RBI single by Keith Levitt Jr. and take a 1-0 lead as we head into the top of inning number 2. Today's game, one of 3 scheduled, technically 4 scheduled in Sunshine State Conference action. Lynn's at PBA, Palm Beach Atlantic, to wrap up their 3-game weekend series. Sailfish have won the first 2 in that one, 10-6 on Friday, 4-3 last night on a walk-off single in 10 innings. So Palm Beach Atlantic will try to sweep the Knights today, as that one should be underway in West Palm Beach. Also, Florida Tech and Berry set for a doubleheader beginning at 3 o'clock. Opening their series, they'll wrap it up tomorrow with a single at 2 p.m. They'll set the conference standings as they look right now. At some point during the inning, Harrison Bragg to lead things off for the Spartans in the top of the second. Bragg hitting .333, 16 home runs, and 52 runs batted in. Had one of those home runs here yesterday. Swings and misses at an off-speed offering from Allen on the first pitch, 0-1. Bragg's got 3 doubles and a home run in the series. Almost doubled his season output in doubles. Came into the series with 5. Now has 8 on the year. Called strike 2 in the inside corner, so Allen out in front 0-2. Effective first inning for Allen. Got through with only 6 pitches. Here's the 0-2 to Bragg. Line drive into right field, and that's going to drop in front of Jamal Chaney for a base hit. Well, Bragg leads off the top of the second inning with the single. He's aboard as Tampa's first base runner for Danny Servin. Servin hitting .335, 5 home runs and 34 RBIs. Had a 3-run shot here yesterday. That got things going in an 8-run third for the Spartans. Allen with a look back to Bragg at first. Modest lead for the big Bragg. And the first pitch swung on and fouled off, out of play for strike 1. Check back to Bragg. Now Allen comes set from the stretch. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball foul tipped into the mid of Calandra for strike 2. Allen out ahead 0-2 against Servin. Humid afternoon here after the rain came through last night. The 0-2. Chopper's going to get through the hole on the left side into left field. So back-to-back singles for the Spartans to open up the top of the second inning. That'll bring in the designated hitter, Connor Kreil. Kreil hitting .289 with a homer and 28 RBIs. He's drawn 4 walks in the series, leads the team in free passes with 22. Allen from the stretch. First pitch on the way. This is outside, ball 1. Now Allen has a sign from Calandra. Comes set with a 1-0. Fouled off out of play, count even at 1-1. Tampa, of course, clinched the conference championship yesterday, improving to 21-5 in conference play, 37-7 overall. Nova Southeastern sits in second. They're 22-5. Florida Southern in third at 20-7. Those 3 teams were in the top 4 in the region rankings. Came out last week. Just misses outside. 2-1. St. Leo a game behind Florida Southern at 19-8. Those are the only 4 teams in conference with a conference record over 500. Over to low, ball 3. Palm Beach Atlantic can get another game closer with a win over Lynn today. They're 13-16. They could end up 2 games under 500 with a win over Lynn today. 3-1 from Allen on the way to Connor Kreil. Fly ball into the gap in left center field. Going back as Levitt Jr. makes a nice catch on the run. Bragg will tag and head to third base, putting runners on the corners with 1 out. A ball that Kreil sent deep into the left center part of the park. But a nice catch by Levitt Jr. on the run for out number 1. Going to bring in Steven Smith, the left fielder. Hitting .297, no home runs, 10 RBIs. No chance to pick up his 11th RBI of the season here with a runner at third. And just 1 out. Bragg talking it over with head coach Joe Urso at third base. Towering over his head coach. First pitch outside, ball 1. Down and in, ball 2. Allen trying to work around a pair of singles that led off the inning. The 2-0. Fouled off out of play. After 2 windy days on Friday and Saturday in the first 2 games of the series, have almost no wind blowing at the field today. The American flag over the scoreboard in right field is laying dormant. Allen with the 2-1. Fouled off out of play. He's come back to even the count at 2-2. Allen from the stretch, kicks and fires with the 2-2. Fouled off out of play as Smith goes down and away to get a piece of that one and stay alive. Two once again. Lined hard, but foul down the first base line. Count remains 2-2. Allen from the stretch, kicks and fires. There's a grounder to second. Conti over to Acuff at first for one. They have time to make two. Not time to turn the double play as Smith hustling down the line beats it out by a step. And the game now tied at 1. On the RBI grounder by Smith, his 11th RBI of the season. 2 gone in the inning now, however, for Richie Rivera. It's tough to turn a double play there. Conti had to go towards the hole and increase the distance on the throw for him to Acuff. Just not quite enough time to beat the speedy Smith down the line. First pitch to Rivera, fouled off out of play for strike 1. Smith takes his lead from first. Allen kicks and fires. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Out ahead in the count now 0-2 against Rivera. Smith has swiped 13 bags this season, second on the team. Tampa's only been thrown out stealing 6 times as a team all year long. Now the 0-2. Breaking ball poked foul and out of play. Rivera stands back in with the 0-2 count, trying to keep the inning alive for the Spartans with 2 outs in the top of the second. Popped up. In the infield, Conti calling for it. And he's got it for the 3rd out of the inning. But the Spartans do tie the game up after a pair of singles lead off the inning, and Bragg comes around to score. It's 1-1 as we head to the bottom of inning number 2.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Chase Acuff back to the plate to lead off the second inning. Bottom of the second inning for the Tritons. He was at the plate in the bottom of the first when Keith Levitt Jr. was caught stealing with 2 outs. So Acuff back up with a fresh count against Shane Bickle. First pitch fouled off out of play over the bullpen on the third base side. The 0-1 off speed down and away. Count even at 1-1. Foul tip into the mid of Servin. And Bickle now ahead in the count 1-2. Bickle kicks and fires as Acuff checks his swing on a ball down and away in the dirt. Bickle only need 10 pitches to get through the first. Here's the 2-2. Grounder back up the middle. Galley's got time behind the bag to get to it and across to Bragg for out number 1. Hit it in the right spot, but just didn't have enough juice on it, as Galley had plenty of time to make the play. Now Acuff retired, and that'll bring in the designated hitter, Shane Leemaster. Leemaster looking for his first hit of the series, hitting .326 now with 2 homers and 27 runs batted in. And Bickle kicks and fires. First pitch swinging to Hopper to Earhart at second and over to Bragg for out number 2. Now Bickle on the verge of another low pitch inning. That's been a theme for these Spartan pitchers during the series. On Friday, David LeBron only threw 86 pitches in 8 innings. Have to look up the numbers from last night, but starter Helvey and Radke, who came in relief, both very effective with their pitching as well. Jordan Leisure also threw last night, came out after injuring his arm. 2 gone now for Brian Torres. Here's the first pitch. Breaking ball high for ball 1. Torres hitting .227, a team high 9 home runs and 29 runs batted in. Down and away, ball 2. Torres chops that one foul down the third base line to the right of Coach Beauregard. 2-1. Nod to the catcher, serve, and now the 2-1. Slow roller over to third. Miller scoops it up and across to Bragg at first for out number 3. So a 3-up, 3-down inning for Bickle and the Spartans in the bottom half of inning number 2. We go to the third, all tied up, 1-1 between Tampa and Eckerd. Nine, 1, and 2 hitters due up for the Spartans as we go to the top of the third with Galley, DeTringo, and Earhart. If anyone gets on Miller, Galley had himself quite a day yesterday. 6 runs batted in, including a 3-run homer. Added a sac fly and a 2-run double. Actually, his sac fly came on Friday night. Had a big series regardless. Had an RBI single yesterday, 3 hits, and finished the day short, triple short of the cycle. They'll leave things off here in the top of the third. Galley now hitting .269 on the year with 2 homers and 26 runs batted in. Allen's only needed 28 pitches through 2 so far, the most efficient of the Eckerd starters this weekend, at least through 2. First pitch is high for ball 1. Very little breeze and pretty humid out here today. 1-0 fouled off behind home plate, count even at 1-1. Usually get a pretty decent breeze out here, typically blowing out to right center. Which is nice when you get into the humidity of mid-April. 1-1 foul back into the fence, and Allen out ahead 1-2. Still looking for his first strikeout of the game. Allen comes into the game averaging just under a strikeout an inning. 59 Ks in 61 innings pitched. 3-1 bounces away from Calandra, count even at 2-2. Chop foul down the third base line is Galley fighting to stay alive. Allen working from the third base side of the rubber, kicks and fires, and Galley again fouls one off to stay alive. In the second in West Palm Beach Atlantic with a 2-1 lead over Lynn. Sailfish looking to sweep that series. Florida Tech and Berry get underway in a doubleheader beginning at 3 o'clock. So they'll have a late night in front of them in Miami. Ball in the dirt, skips away from Calandra. That one got him on his throwing hand. So our home plate umpire will walk fresh baseball out to Allen and give Mitch time to shake that off. Tampa went down in order in the first. Back-to-back singles to lead off the second. And pushed a run across after a deep fly ball moved Bragg to third, and then he scored on a grounder by Smith as Eckerd just missed turning the double play to end the inning. Now full count to Galley, leading off the top of the third. He's done a good job after falling behind 1-2, fouling off a couple of 2-strike pitches, and now has run the count full. Allen kicks and fires with the payoff pitch. High fly ball slicing into right field. Over into foul territory. Cheney is there, though, and grabs it as he goes to his knees for out number 1. So Allen wins that battle with Galley, and it's back to the top of the order now to DeTringo. DeTringo 0 for 1. Grounded out to third in his first at-bat. Hit a hot shot at Torres, who made a great play scooping it up on the short hop. Robbing DeTringo of a base hit. Probably extra bases. Allen with the first pitch to DeTringo. Swinging and pops it up in the infield. In foul territory, Calandra calling for it, and just to the right of the first base line, he hauls it in for the second out. 2 up, 2 down. That'll bring in the second baseman, Drew Eckerd. Eckerd was thrown out on a bunt attempt in his first at-bat on a nice play by Torres, charging in from third. Eckerd plays second, bats second in the order, and wears number 2. Allen looking for a 1-2-3 inning. See if he can get it here as he faces Eckerd for the second time. First pitch right down the heart for strike one. Now the 0-1. Down and away as it skips away from Calandra. Count even at 1-1. One on the way, a fly ball into left field. Going back is Levitt Jr. at the wall, leaps, but can't come up with it as it sails over the fence for a solo home run for Drew Eckerd. That ball got up and kept on carrying out of the park. Fifth homer of the series for the Spartans. And Tampa leads it 2-1. For Eckerd, that is home run number 4 on the season, 30th RBI. And now Darren Miller steps up. He's 0 for 1. First pitch on the way. Line drive to center field. Hyatt going back, but he's got room, and he hauls it in for the third out of the inning. But the Spartans go on top on the 2-out solo home run by Drew Eckerd and take a 2-1 lead as we head to the bottom of inning number 3. Eight, 9, and 1 hitters due up for the Tritons as we go to the bottom of the third. Justin Glover, Jamal Chaney, and Nick Conti, if anyone gets on. Garrett Hyatt. Glover hitting .232 on the year, 6 homers and 27 runs batted in. Making his second start of the series, went hitless on Friday night. First pitch on the way, foul tip off the glove of Servin for strike one. Shane Bickle back on the mound, thrown 10 pitches in each of the first 2 innings. Breaking ball, Glover hits that hard but foul over the head of first base coach Pete Wilbur down the right field line. Behind in the count now 0-2 to Bickle, who's looking for his first strikeout of the game. Here's the 0-2. Misses high, ball 1. One-two, breaking ball in the dirt as Glover lays off. Count even 2-2. Bickle winds and fires with the 2-2. Called strike 3 on the inside corner at the knees. Glover down on strikes. And the first out of the inning for Bickle. Brings in Jamal Chaney. Chaney hit by a pitch and homered yesterday. hitting .227 with 4 homers and 11 RBIs, making his 12th start of the season. He, like several other Tritons this season, have been slowed by injury. First pitch swinging, it's a grounder to Miller at third. Plenty of time, and across to first he goes. The throw almost pulls Bragg off the bag, but the 6'4 Bragg, plenty of reach, able to scoop that one up and stay on the bag for out number 2. With 2 down, that brings in Nick Conti. Conti 0 for 1, grounded out to Galley at short in his first at-bat. Here's the first pitch. Breaking ball stays inside for ball 1. Conti swinging at the 1-0 line drive right at Galley at shortstop for out number 3. So another 1-2-3 inning for Shane Bickle, and we go to the 4th inning with the Spartans on top, 2-1.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
Top of the 4th, it'll be Bragg, Servin, and Kreil due up for the Spartans. If anyone gets on Smith, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Spartans. That's where their rally got started in the second. Back-to-back singles by Bragg and Servin led off the inning. Bragg 1 for 1 and came around to score Tampa's first run. The big senior from Lakewood, Washington, transfer from Mississippi State, has had himself a big series. First pitch misses high from Allen for ball 1. Bragg with a pair of doubles and a home run in this series. That home run, his 16th of the year. Fastball misses low. Bragg ahead in the count, 2-0. Now the 2-0 is popped up in foul territory behind home plate and out of play. As that one was high, I think just about everybody lost that one. Calandra threw his mask off, was looking up for it. I think he had a hard time finding it. It took a while for it to come down. Finally bounced just to the right of the bleachers. 2-1, the count to Bragg. Ball hammered foul down the third base line into the Tampa dugout. I don't know if that hit somebody. I think that might have hit somebody. Nobody injured. Maybe shook up a little bit if that hit someone. They're giving him a hard time out of the Tampa dugout over to Bragg. You could see even from up here, big smile on his face as someone yelled out, "Psycho." That came from the Tampa dugout, not the Eckerd dugout. Now the 2-2. Breaking ball popped up, foul, out of play again. Long look in for Allen now. The 2-2 offering to Bragg. High and away, ball 3. Here comes the payoff pitch from Allen. Hit hard and high, but foul. Down the left field side. That one hit a ton, but well foul. Harrison Bragg from Lakewood, Washington, to Tacoma Community College, then the Mississippi State University, as he takes ball forward just high. And he reaches base for the second time today on the walk to lead off the 4th. It'll bring up the catcher, Danny Servin, another SEC transfer. He came from the University of Tennessee. First pitch in for a called strike 1. Servin singled in his last at-bat. Over but low, ball 1. Last year at Tennessee, had 16 appearances, started 6 games for the Vols. Hit 167 as he tries to hold up his swing on a pitch down and away. Can't do it, behind in the count 1-2. Hit 167 in 16 appearances, 6 starts for Tennessee. Last year, scored 3 runs, drove in 1. Played at Chattanooga State Community College as a freshman. Hit .412, 7 homers, and 52 runs batted in. Fouls that one back into the fence, stays alive with the 1-2 count. Native of Miami. Went up to East Tennessee for a couple of years. Beautiful place, especially around the Chattanooga area. I was just there last weekend. Here's the 1-2, breaking ball, and it's popped him up on the right side. It could be trouble. It's in shallow right field. Cheney there calls off Conti and hauls it in for out number 1. Long run for Cheney, but he got there to record the out as Servin's retired for the first time today. Brings in the DH, Connor Kreil. Kreil gave the ball a ride in his first at-bat to left center field, but Keith Levitt Jr. made the catch up on the track. First pitch to Kreil in at the knees, called strike 1. Now the 0-1 breaking ball downstairs, count even 1-1. Chopper to first base. That's going to get over the head of Glover. It'd be a race to the bag at first. And Kreil wins it for the infield single. Just hit that one right off the dirt on the first base line with Glover. Up near the bag, holding on Bragg. It bounced over his head. Conti got to it. But by then, Kreil had already beaten Allen to the bag. Conti didn't even attempt to make the throw over. Now runners at first and second, with 1 out for Stephen Smith. Smith 0 for 1, grounded into a fielder's choice in his first at-bat. That brought in Bragg from third for the RBI, his 11th of the year. Allen from the stretch. 2 looks back to second. Now kicks and fires. Instead spins back to second. Bragg pretty close to the bag the whole time. Now the first pitch to Smith. High fly ball into left field, right near Levitt Jr. He hauls it in for the second out of the inning. Both runners stay put. 2 gone now for Richie Rivera. Rivera popped up to the infield in his first at-bat. Rivera, senior from right here in St. Pete. Played at SCF, State College of Florida, down in Bradenton before coming to Tampa. First pitch just outside for ball 1. Went to St. Petersburg High School. Now the 1-0, there's a grounder slowly hit to Conti at second. Conti will make the play at first to Glover for out number 3. So the Spartans put 2 runners aboard but leave both stranded. And we head to the bottom of inning number 4. Eckerd trailing Tampa by the score of 2-1. Shane Bickle back onto the hill as we go to the bottom of the 4th. It'll be Hyatt, Calandra, and Levitt Jr. If anyone gets on, Acuff due up for the Tritons. Tampa, the 3rd stop in the college career of Bickle as a freshman. The Palm Beach native played at Ole Miss. Appeared in 12 games as a freshman, went 3-1 in 12 2/3 innings. Then transferred to Palm Beach State. As a sophomore, he went 5-1 with a 3.14 ERA. The 7-4 record last year with Tampa. First pitch on the way to Hyatt. Inside corner at the knees for called strike 1. Hyatt 1 for 1, had a bunt single in the first and came around to score. Also had 5 saves last year, did Bickle. 51 innings pitched. First swing by Hyatt, fouls it off out of play. Now behind in the count 0-2. A lot of former D1 guys on this Tampa roster, and Bickle pulls the string on the 0-2 pitch. Hyatt swings and misses for out number 1. Second strikeout of the game for Shane Bickle. Brings in Mitch Calandra. Mitch 0 for 1, flew out to center in his first at-bat. It had been rather quiet this series, has Calandra only 1 hit. Just foul, missed his second hit by mere inches on a line drive down the third base line. Eckerd bats in general have been rather quiet during the series, only 12 hits in 2 games and 4 innings. Breaking ball misses down and away for ball 1. Tampa came into the series with a team ERA of 2.77. That ranked 5th in all of Division II. Calandra pops that one up, foul out of play, count 1-2. And the Spartans will see that team ERA drop after 2 games, giving up 0 and 3 runs. It's now 271. Not counting the 3+ so far today. Here's a 1-2 to Calandra. Breaking ball, fly ball into right field. That one going back on the track and making a leaping catch at the wall is DeTringo for out number 2. Calandra gave it a ride, and if it had gotten up in the air like that yesterday with the wind blowing out to right, probably would have sailed out. Just not enough wind today to aid that ball to get over the fence. A 2 down for Keith Levitt Jr. Keith 1 for 1 RBI single back in the first. And was caught stealing to end the inning. First pitch is a breaking ball in at the knees, called strike 1 from Bickle. Grounder hit to Earhart at second, fields it on the high hop. And over to Bragg for out number 3. So Bickle sets the Tritons down in order for the 3rd straight inning as we go to the 5th. Tampa with a 2-1 lead here at the Turley Athletic Complex.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Top of the 5th, it'll be Galley, DeTringo, and Earhart due up for the Spartans if anyone gets on Miller, as Tampa takes a 2-1 lead into the top of the 5th. Galley, yet another major D1 transfer for the Spartans, came from the University of Miami after spending 2 seasons at Polk State. Made 20 starts last year for the Hurricanes. Here's the first pitch from Allen, inside ball 1. Played in 29 games at Miami last year, 2 doubles, 1 triple, 10 RBIs at 229. There's a hard hit ball to left field. Levitt Jr. going back and watching that one bounce off the wall as Galley slides into second with a leadoff double. I think Levitt Jr. thought that one was going to get out of here. He turned, had his back to the ball. Ended up bouncing off the base of the wall. 5th hit of the game for the Spartans. 3rd time in 5 innings that the leadoff runner has reached base. That brings up DeTringo. DeTringo 0 for 2 today. Allen kicks his leg, then looks back at second. This Galley back on the bag. Galley's big series continues. Bunt is shown, pulled back as the pitch misses down and away for ball 1. Two runs on 5 hits so far for the Spartans. 1 run on 2 hits for the Tritons. Both of those hits came in the first inning. Galley dancing around at second. Now the 1-0 is at the knees for a called strike one. The Tringo's grounded to third and fouled out in foul territory in the infield. Now the 1-1. This time lays the bunt down on the first base side. Allen can't scoop it up, and Tringo will beat it out. The runners now on the corners. Nobody out. Eckerd is 1 for 2. Had a solo home run in the third. Chance to add to that RBI total today with runners on the corners and nobody out. First pitch hit hard just past the diving Acuff at shortstop into left field for an RBI single. 7th hit of the game for the Spartans, 3rd of the inning, and Tampa now on top 3-1. For Eckerd, that's RBI number 31 on the season. And brings in Darren Miller. Miller 0 for 2 today. After reaching base safely in his first 10 plate appearances, 8 of those base hits has been retired in his last 3 trips to the plate. First pitch breaking ball, swing and a miss. Strike one as Miller was swinging for the fences. Calandra pump fakes a throw back down to first. Eckerd slides back in. Double and 2 singles have the Spartans on the board again here in the top of the 5th. In the dirt. Ball one, Calandra keeps that in front of him, and the runners stay put. One just misses the corner on the outside, 2-1. Calandra runs through the signs. Now Allen comes set from the stretch. 2-1. Breaking ball down and away, ball 3. Certainly not the part in the Tampa order that you want to get into trouble against, with Bragg waiting on deck. Allen with the 3-1. Foul back into the fence, count full, now 3-2. Palm Beach Atlantic now with a 7-1 lead over Lynn. Still in the second. Looks like it's still in the second inning. It's been a long second inning. Payoff pitch. Breaking ball high, ball 4. Oh, the base is now full for Tampa's most productive hitter, from an RBI standpoint at least, Harrison Bragg. Bragg is 1 for 1 today, singled and walked, scored a run. But first we'll have a visit to the mound by Coach Josh Beauregard. Activity is going on down in the Eckerd bullpen. Hard to believe already thinking ahead to the fall 2018 sports, but we are now with this game today wrapping everything up for the Tritons except for sailing, which still has nationals coming up at the end of May. But be sure to visit EckerdTritons.com. Before too long, we will have those fall schedules up for you so you can see when men's and women's soccer and volleyball will be in action. Hard to believe we're already thinking about that. That's where we stand, though, and where we stand here at the Turley Athletic Complex is bases loaded for the Spartans, nobody out for the cleanup hitter, Harrison Bragg. It is 16th homer of the season here yesterday. His 52 RBIs on the season, and first pitch swinging a high fly ball into center field. Not deep enough to get out, but deep enough to get the run in as Hyatt pulls it in. All runners tag. And we'll all move up 90 feet on the sacrifice fly by Harrison Bragg. First out of the inning is recorded. But Tampa now leads 4-1 with Danny Servin coming to the dish. Servin 1 for 2, singled back in the second. And Earhart moves to third, Miller to second, putting both runners in scoring position for Servin. It's RBI number 53 on the season for Bragg, team high. There's a line drive, base hit into right field. One run is in. Here comes Miller rounding third. He'll score. 2 RBI single for Danny Servin, makes it 6-1. Infield was in there with runners at second and third and 1 out. Conti, had he been back at his normal depth, might have had a chance at that, but had no chance up on the infield grass. Servin picks up his 35th and 36th RBIs of the season. That'll bring in Connor Kreil, who's 1 for 2. Flew out to deep left center and singled. First pitch from Allen on the outside corner, called strike 1. One fouled off out of play. Allen ahead in the count 0-2. Still looking for his first strikeout of the game is Allen. Triton pitching staff as a whole yesterday struck out 11. Unfortunately, also gave up 19 hits and 16 runs. Now the 0-2. There's a grounder to Conti. Shuffles it to Acuff for 1 and across to Glover at first for out number 2. So the Tritons get out of the inning with the 4-6-3 double play, but not before the Spartans score 4 times on 4 hits. Leave 1 runner on. Now we go to the bottom of the 5th. Eckerd's hole gets a little deeper, trailing Tampa by the score of 6-1. Bottom of inning number 5, it'll be Acuff, Leemaster, and Torres due up for the Tritons if anyone gets on Glover, as Bickle, only 37 pitches through 4 innings, back on the hill for inning number 5. Bickle set down 9 straight. That started with Acuff back in the second. Gave up 2 hits to the first 4 batters of the game, and since then has retired 9 in a row. First pitch on the way to Acuff. Chop foul down the third base line over the head of Coach Beauregard. Line drive back up the middle, base hit for Acuff. His first hit of the series, third of the day for the Tritons, and Eckerd has the leadoff runner aboard here in the bottom of the 5th. Line drive right back up the middle. Bickle move at the last second to keep that one from going off his torso. Tried to knock it down with his hands, unable to. That'll bring in Shane Leemaster. Leemaster 0 for 1. Grounded out to second in his first at-bat. First pitch swinging, fouls it off out of play for strike 1. Fouled off again, out of play down the left field side into the Tampa bullpen, and Leemaster in an 0-2 hole. Here's the 0-2, just off the outside corner, 1-2. Runner going, check swing, throw down to second. Might have been in time, but it's in the dirt. Scoots away from the shortstop Galley as Acuff slides in with a stolen base. Eckerd's second swipe of the game. Acuff's third. Down and in. Leemaster has come back and run the count full. Payoff pitch. Fly ball in foul territory, and that one gets out of play once again into the Spartan bullpen. Count remains 3-2. Acuff takes his lead from second. Bickle looks in, payoff pitch to Leemaster, misses high, ball 4. First walk issued by Bickle. Puts runners at first and second, nobody out for Brian Torres. Torres 0 for 1, grounded out to third in his first at-bat. Does lead the team in home runs with 9. See if he can get into double digits in the home run category today. First pitch is on the outside corner, called strike 1. The 0-1 breaking ball. And Torres takes a big hack, but out in front 0-2. Two pitch, line drive. Nice play by Miller at third to rob Torres of a hit for the first out of the inning, as Acuff has to put on the brakes and head back to second. One down for Justin Glover. Glover 0 for 1, struck out looking in his first at bat. It has started to pick up a little bit now, blowing out towards right field. Helps with the humidity problems we were having earlier in the day for sure. Here's the first pitch to Glover. Down and in, ball one. Oh, 1-0, fouled off out of play. Evens the count at 1-1. Single by Acuff and a stolen base. Then Leemaster drew a walk to put runners at first and second. With nobody out, Miller just robbed Torres of extra bases on a line drive down the third base line. 1-1 to Glover. Checks his swing. Appeal, did he go? Says he did for strike two, as Glover hangs his head off to the side, disappointed with the result of that appeal. Ball and 2 strikes here to Glover. Pitch from Bickle, and the dirt, ball 2. Glover's got 6 home runs on the season, and with the wind blowing out to right field, sure would be nice to see him get one up in the air that direction. The 2-2 from Bickle is fouled off down the third base line. I'm hearing Pickle being set over to my right. It screwed me up. Two balls, 2 strikes to Justin Glover. There's a grounder to Galley at short. Bobbles it, still has time to get the play, throw it first for 1. And actually still has time to turn the double play. And bobbled it, but still had time to turn the double play as the Tritons put the first 2 runners of the inning on base, but can't get anybody home. Wasted opportunity for Eckerd as we go to the 6th. Spartans still lead at 6-1. Palm Beach Atlantic and Lynn in a rain delay. That's why it's still the second inning has been stuck on the live stats for a while, as they are enjoying a few rain delay activities like we saw here last night. New pitcher into the game for the Tritons. It's senior Gardner Nutter, as Allen's day comes to an end after 5 innings of work. Nutter making his 20th appearance of the season, tied for the most on the team. No wins, no losses, 4.74 ERA, 19 innings pitched. He's given up 23 hits. 16 runs, 10 earned, walked 12, and struck out 14. Opponents hitting .295 against the senior from Malvern, Pennsylvania. Ranks, I believe, second in program history in total appearances. When I got here 2 years ago as a sophomore, Nutter worked more a lower arm angle, not completely a side armor, but pretty close. And last year he changed his motion to more over the top. He will face the bottom third of the order, Smith, Rivera, and Galley here at the top of inning number 6. If anyone gets on, DeTringo. Book closed on Allen. He goes 5 innings, gives up 8 hits, 6 runs, all earned, walks 2, struck out none, home run on 77 pitches. Senior Nick Alonso yesterday made the final outing of his career here at the Turley Athletic Complex. And for Nutter, after this relief appearance, that will be a cap on his career. Smith 0 for 2 had a fielder's choice RBI in the second. First pitch swinging and hammers it, but foul down the right field side over the Eckerd bullpen. Gave that one a ride, but well foul. Expect we'll also see Kevin Kane for the Tritons today, too, the only remaining active senior on the roster. At Senior Day yesterday, honored all 4 seniors, including Nutter, Kane, Alonso, and Derek Lamensdorf. Breaking ball in the dirt for ball 1. All 4 pitchers, Lamensdorf has been sidelined by injury all season. Andrew Don also on the roster as a senior, actually a 5th-year senior. He was honored during last year's Senior Day, so he wasn't among those honored yesterday. Did get the start yesterday, though. At first base. Fastball fouled off out of play behind home plate, and Nutter out in front, 1-2. Six runs on 8 hits for the Spartans, 1 run on 3 hits for the Tritons. Now the 1-2. Line drive at Acuff. It's short. Acuff down to his knees and grabs it for out number 1. So Smith retired for the 3rd time today, and that'll bring in Richie Rivera. Rivera 0 for 2. First pitch in for a called strike 1. Nutter tosses the rosin bag up, his hand behind the mound, throws it back down. Out of the stretch he goes for the 0-1. Over but low, ball 1. In the dirt again, count 2-1. There's some activity down in the Tampa bullpen, as well as the Eckerd bullpen. Here's the 2-1 to Rivera. Hard shot to Torres at third, fields it on the hop and across to Glover at first for out number 2. Torres at thirds, showing some nice leather over there today at the hot corner. 2 down, bases empty for Brandon Galley. Galley 1 for 2. Doubled and scored in his last at-bat. Spartans got 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and 4 in the 5th. First pitch to Galley misses, ball 1. Swing and a miss as Nutter pulls the string, count even at 1-1. Another breaking ball, line drive into right field. Cheney on his horse and gets to it to bring it in for out number 3. So Nutter retires the side in order in the top of the 6th. We go to the bottom of the 6th with Eckerd trailing the number 2 Spartans by the score of 6-1.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
27. Looks like it. On their roster, he's a left-handed pitcher, so I'm going to say yes. Yeah, 27. New pitcher into the game for the Spartans as we go to the bottoming of inning number 6. It's Christian Kalea. He is a 6-foot left-handed senior from Hialeah, Florida, Palm Beach State College transfer. Making his first appearance on the mound in the series. And has been one of the team's most effective arms out of the bullpen. 9 appearances, 8 in relief. This is his 9th in relief. Record of 5-0, 0.87 ERA in 20 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed a mere 8 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, walked 8, and struck out 25. Opponents hitting a paltry 119 against him. Kalea spent 2 seasons at Palm Beach State before coming over to Tampa. Was a starter last year, made 16 starts his junior season at Tampa, went 4-0, 5.33 ERA. Struck out 39 in 72 2/3 last year. This strikeout margin has or strikeout ratio rather, has improved quite a bit in his senior season. He'll face Cheney, Conti, and Hyatt here in the bottom half of inning number 6. Cheney 0 for 1, grounded out in his first at-bat. First pitch from the lefty to Cheney. Takes a big hack, swings over the top. The pitch down around the shins for strike 1. The 0-1 in the dirt, 1-1. Effective work for Shane Bickle. Goes 5 innings, 3 hits allowed, 1 run. It was earned. Walked 1, struck out 2 in only 55 pitches. 1-1. Big hack by Cheney, and once again comes up empty. This time on a high fastball behind the count 1-2. Cheney launched one here yesterday over the left field fence for his 4th home run of the season. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Cheney down on strikes for the first out of the inning. Strikeout number 26 on the year for Kalea. And back to the top of the order it goes to Nick Conti. Conti hitless today, had 3 hits on Friday, 2 yesterday. Check swing on the first pitch from Kalea, misses inside for ball 1. Outside, Conti ahead in the count 2-0. Now one catches the outside corner. Called strike 1. Kalea working out of the windup. Here's the 2-1. Grounded to short. Galley in the hole. Quick throw across to Bragg at first, and Conti is retired for the 3rd time today. 2 gone. Brings up Garrett Hyatt. Hyatt had a bunt single in his first at-bat, came around to score, and struck out in his last at-bat. First pitch in the dirt for ball one. A line drive, base hit into left field for Hyatt, his second hit of the game, fourth for Eckerd. And he's aboard with 2 outs for Mitch Calandra. Been a rough series for Mitch, only 1 hit in the series. He's 0 for 2 today. First pitch inside for ball one. Over low for ball two as Servin blocks that one, keeps Hyatt where he is at first. Hyatt did steal a base in the first inning. Coach Beauregard with a 2-0 count here may have him on the move, maybe a hit and run situation. Outside ball three. Now the 3-0 pitch, Calandra taking all the way. It's in at the knees, called strike one. Hyatt going, pitched down and in for ball four. Second walk of the game drawn by Eckerd as Calandra heads down to first, putting runners at first and second. 2 outs for Keith Levitt Jr. Keith had an RBI single in the first. It drove in Eckerd's only run of the game. And with Hyatt at second again, a chance to put another tally on the board for the Tritons. Eckerd trails 6-1, bottom half of inning number 6. First pitch, swinging a line drive, but foul down the left field line. Strike one. Kalea from the stretch, check back to second, now kicks and fires. Outside and in the dirt as Servin gets his arm on it, but he gets behind him, and both runners move up 90 feet on the wild pitch. Fourth wild pitch of the season for Kalea. Swing and a miss on a fastball up and in, 1-2. Kalea's got a lot of movement on that particular pitch he throws there. Cuts in on those left-handed hitters. Now the 1-2. Goes inside on him again. Kalea bobbles it, but has time to make the throw to first for the third out of the inning. So the Tritons put 2 aboard, but leave both stranded, and we head to inning number 7 with Tampa still on top, 6-1. Oh, 1-2-3 inning for Gardner Nutter in the top of the sixth, and that brings his Eckerd career to a close. Great way to end your career, get a 1-2-3 inning against Tampa. He's replaced as we go to the seventh by fellow senior Kevin Kane. Kane's missed a good portion of this season, actually missed a good portion of his career, unfortunately, due to injury. He is making his 10th appearance of the season. In his senior year, he's 1-1 with a 3.94 ERA, 2 saves, 16 innings pitched, 23 hits allowed, 10 runs, 7 earned, walked 6, struck out 6, opponents hit 338 against him. Kane battled injuries his freshman and sophomore years, appeared to be healthy going into last season, opened the year as a weekend starter, but once again, the injury bug got the best of him, ended his season early. He worked limited relief early in his senior season, then missed the better part of a month and a half before coming back into the bullpen the last few weeks. Senior out of Clarksville, Tennessee, just northwest of Nashville. If you heard of Austin Peay State University, that's where Austin Peay is, up in Clarksville, Tennessee. First pitch from Kane to Nick DeTringo. He hits that one hard down the left field line for a base hit, rounding first on his way to second. As Levitt Jr. picks that one up the corner, gets it back in. Leadoff double here in the seventh for Nick DeTringo. His second hit of the day. And brings in Drew Eckerd. Eckerd 2 for 3, solo home run and an RBI single. Nutter, as he went off the mound in the top of the sixth, you see the line of players waiting as he came in, all giving him hugs. At the end of his Eckerd career. Kane out of the stretch, long look into Calandra for the sign with the runner at second, nobody out. He'll face tough part of the order for Tampa. First pitch to Eckerd. Almost gets him, pops out of the glove of Calandra. And DeTringo will move up to third. He's in and out of Calandra's glove. On what'll be a pass ball. Their signs might have been crossed up as Calandra out to talk with Kane. Spartans scored one of the second, one of the third, 4 in the fifth. Tritons got their lone run in the first. And a 1-0 count here to Drew Eckerd, looking for his third hit and third RBI of the day. Down and away, ball 2. Two-0 catches the outside corner for called strike 1. Grounder hits the bag at third for a fair ball. That one bounces into shallow left field. Eckerd rounding first and on his way to second with a double. Eckerd with his third hit of the day, third RBI, and now he's just a triple short of the cycle as Tampa extends its lead to 7-1. Ball right down the line, hit the bag at third, bounced straight up into the air into shallow left field. And gave Eckerd all the time he needed to stretch that into 2. So back-to-back doubles to open the inning in the 7th for Tampa as Eckerd replaces DeTringo at second. Brings in Miller. Miller 0 for 2 with a walk and run scored. Kane kicks and fires, and at the knees, called strike 1. Spartans now with 10 hits on the day. one fouled off out of play, and Kane ahead of Miller 0-2. Miller, senior, another transfer from a major D1 program. He came from Florida State. Two seasons at Florida State, now 2 seasons at Tampa. Was an All-SSC, All-Region, and All-American last year. His first year with the Spartans. Here's the 0-2, down and away, ball 1. Hit .371 last year, 13 home runs, 53 runs batted in. As a freshman at Florida State, 25 starts, 56 appearances for the Seminoles. There's a line drive to center field. Hyatt giving chase, makes the catch on the run. Earhart tagging at second. He'll move up to third. But Kane gets the first out of the inning. As Miller oddly still searching for his first hit of the day. Bring in Harrison Bragg. Bragg 1 for 1. Singled and scored in the first. And he walked and had a sac fly in the 5th in his last at-bat, or last plate appearance. As he wasn't charged for an official at-bat on that sac fly, of course. First pitch on the way, top of the zone, called strike 1. Kane working quickly, misses outside with the 0-1. High pop up on the infield, now just behind the bag, near the bag at second base in the grass. Acuff calls everybody off and hauls it in for out number 2. For a minute, thought that might be trouble as Acuff got a late break on it. Hyatt was sprinting in from center field, but Acuff found the ball, had plenty of time to get underneath it for the second out of the inning. So that'll bring in Danny Servin. Servin 2 for 3 with a pair of RBIs. Looking for his third with Earhart at third. Here's the first pitch from Kane. Ground ball just past Conti into right center field for the third hit of the day for Servin and the third RBI for the catcher. Makes it 8-1. Brings in Connor Kreil, who's 1 for 3. 3 RBIs for Earhart. 3 for Servin today, as the run production this weekend for the Spartans has been well distributed. First pitch swinging. There's a drive into the gap in left center field. And Hyatt won't get to it. Lands in front of him. Gets the ball back in quickly. And Servin will hold at third. And Kreil's into second with the third double of the inning. It brings in Steven Smith, but before he can step into the box, we'll have a visit to the mound from pitching coach Doug Banks. It's getting to be vacation time for a lot of families. And if you're looking to vacation down in the beautiful Tampa Bay area, then you need to look no farther than the Postcard Inn on St. Pete Beach, right on Gulf Drive, on the beach side. Walk out of your room to the pool, the tiki bar, and then right on to one of the most beautiful beaches you'll find anywhere, St. Pete Beach. Postcard Inn. Look them up. Give them a call. They do offer savings for Florida and Georgia residents. join us down here in Tampa Bay if you're looking for a place to take your summer vacation. Lots to do down here. Now Smith stands in against Kane. Here's the first pitch from Kane to Smith. Hit hard but foul down the first base line. Smith is 0 for 3 today at a RBI ground out in his first at bat, bringing Tampa's first run of the game home. Lynn and Palm Beach Atlantic still appear to be in a rain delay in the second inning. Over but low for ball one. Two outs in the inning, runners at second and third. Spartans with 2 runs in. Smith at the plate. There's a grounder to short. Acuff fields it, has plenty of time across to first for out. Number 3. We head to the 7th inning stretch, as the Spartans add 2 more runs in the top of the 7th and take an 8-1 lead into 7th inning stretch time. Christian Kalea heads back onto the mound for his second inning of work as we go to the bottom of inning number 7. It will be Acuff, Leemaster, and Torres due up for the Tritons if anyone gets on. Glover. Acuff 1 for 2, singled, and was stranded in his last at-bat. First pitch to the sophomore. Acuff swings and a high fly ball into shallow right field. Tringo is there, and he's got it for out number 1. A 1-pitch, 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. Tritons have remained aggressive early in the count all weekend long. That's really been the team's MO for most of the season. Brings in Shane Leemaster, is 0 for 1 today with a walk. First pitch over but low for ball 1 to the freshman. It's called strike 1 to the outside corner. Leemaster, the freshman's average has reached as high as 366 this year after a 3-for-3 performance against Embry-Riddle on April 13th. Down and away ball 2. Leemaster had actually had a 6-game hitting streak coming into the series before he went hitless in Friday's opener. Still looking for his first hit of the weekend. Here's the 2-0. Chopper foul, or 2-1 rather. Chopper foul down the first base line, makes it 2-2. Kalea with the 2-2 over but low, ball 3. himself. Pitch on the way. Line drive. Takes a bad hop off the turf. Galley, the shortstop, had a beat on it, but it bounces over his head and into left center field for a base hit. First hit of the weekend for Leemaster. Galley had a chance to make a play. He dove, so it would have been a tough play, but never find out if he could have finished it or not. That'll bring in Torres. Torres is 0 for 2. Robbed of a base hit in his last at-bat on a line drive to third. First pitch high for ball 1. Now the 1-0, swing and a miss, evens the count at 1-1. Leemasters hit the 5th of the game for the Tritons. They've had 5 hits in all 3 games of the series. Still 3 innings left here, so chance to get past that 5-hit threshold. Slow roller to Miller at third. Gets past him as he just can't come up with the play, and Galley in the hole tries to make the play across the diamond, but not in time, as Torres probably reaches on what I assume he scored as an error. It is an error. That puts runners at first and second for pinch hitter Andrew Don. Don got the start yesterday. He went hitless. Started first base, that is. He's 2 for 13 on the year with a home run and 2 RBIs. First pitch on the outside corner for a called strike 1. Now Kalea, after a long look in, comes set from the stretch. Here's the pitch. High, ball 1. First baseman Bragg not holding Torres on at first. Called strike 2, in at the knees. Nobody throwing down in the Tampa bullpen. Coach Urso may choose to let Kalea finish this one off if he can. High fly ball into left center field. That went carrying, but not deep enough. The center fielder Rivera there to haul it in for out number 2 and gets it in quickly. That'll hold Leemaster at second base. The 2 gone for Jamal Chaney. Chaney 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Did have a 2-run home run here yesterday over the left field fence. First pitch takes a big hack, comes up empty for strike 1. Maybe a tough matchup for him with Kalea's fastball that tails away from right-handed hitters. Saw it there. That one cut away from Chaney at the last second. Swung and missed. And one misses outside as Chaney lays off. Count even at 1-1. Now the 1-1. Check swing and called strike 2 on the inside corner. Nice pitch from Kalea. Swing and a miss, strike three, as Cheney down on strikes for the second time today. Leaves two runners on, and the Tritons come up empty again in the bottom of inning number 7. We go to the 8th. Spartans with an 8-1 lead, looking to finish off the 3-game sweep here at the Turley Athletic Complex. New pitcher into the game for Eckerd as we go to the top of the 8th. It's Jared Salisbury. 4th arm of the game in for the Tritons. Salisbury is making his 16th appearance of the season, all in relief. No wins, no losses, 4.29 ERA. 1 save, 21 innings pitched. He's given up 23 hits, 11 runs, 10 earned, walked 15, struck out 13 opponents, hitting .311. Against the sophomore from Tampa. Andrew Don stays in the game and goes to first base. Salisbury will face Rivera Gale and DeTringo, barring any pinch hitters, which we already have one coming up for Tampa. This is Kyle Cataletta. Saw him last night, came into the game as a pinch hitter last night and stayed in the outfield. Cataletta is 6 for 13 on the season, hitting .462. No homers, 2 RBIs. May see several replacements upcoming by both teams. First pitch from Salisbury on the way, outside corner, called strike 1. Now Kevin Kane, after throwing the 7th inning, sees his unfortunately somewhat injury-riddled Eckerd career come to an end. There's a grounder. Nice play by Torres in the hole on the left side. Throw across to first. Don goes low to pull it in for out number 1. Kane goes an inning, gives up 4 hits, 2 runs, both earned in his final appearance in an Eckerd uniform. That brings in Brandon Galley. He'll stay in the game. 1 for 3 with a run scored. 6 RBIs yesterday from the shortstop. First pitch lined into center field. Hyatt going back, but has plenty of room, and he hauls it in for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down in the top of the 8th. And Nick DeTringo is due up. See if he's the one coming to the plate. It is DeTringo. Tringo 2 for 4 with a pair of runs scored, doubled and scored in his last at-bat. Salisbury trying to finish off a 1-2-3 inning. First pitch skips away from Calandra for ball 1. Check swing called strike, count even 1-1. Now the 1-1 on the inside corner, called strike 2. The 1-2. Grounder to short. Acuff backhands it. Quick throw across to first to Don for the 3rd out of the inning. So Salisbury retires the side in order. in the top half of the 8th inning. We go to the bottom of inning number 8. Triton still trailing Tampa 8-1. Christian Calea is back on the mound as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. His 3rd inning of work in relief of Bickle. He'll face the top of the order for the Tritons at Conti, Hyatt, and Calandra if anyone gets on Levitt Jr. Conti looking for his first hit of the game. 0 for 3, had 5 hits in the first 2 games of the series. But bat has been quiet so far today. Conti is aggressive early in the count. See what he does on the first pitch. It is swinging and fouled off out of play. Now the 0-1 sails high for ball 1. Infield, outfield straight away for Conti, who fouls that one off out of play again to the right side. Behind at the count 1-2 against Calea. Conti chops a 1-2 pitch foul down the third base line. Cataletta stays in the game, goes to center field after pinch hitting for the center fielder Rivera in the top half of the frame. Big hole up the middle for Conti as the shortstop Galley shading over near the hole on the third base side. Played that one well. It's hit over in the hole. Makes a quick throw across to first. One hops to Bragg and beats Conti by half a step for out number 1. Apparently Galley knew just what he was doing. Played it in the hole. It's where Conti hit it. Still had to make a nice play to get him out. One gone for Garrett Hyatt. Hyatt 2 for 3 with a pair of singles and a run scored. He's also struck out. First pitch sails away from him for ball 1. Chops that one foul. Evens accounted 1-1 against Christian Calea. Down and away, gets past the catcher Servin for ball 2. Two one. Grounder to second. High hop. Earhart has to leap into the air to grab it, then throws it in the dirt to Bragg, but he scoops it out for out number 2. 2 gone, bases empty for Mitch Calandra. Calandra 0 for 2 with a walk. looking for his first hit of the day, second of the series. Kalea kicks and fires. In the dirt for ball one. Grounder to Galley at short. Pretty easy play as he throws across to first in the dirt again. But Bragg scoops it out for the third out of the inning. So the Tritons go down in order in the bottom of the eighth. As we go to the ninth, Spartans still on top, 8-1. After a perfect inning of relief for Jared Salisbury, he'll be replaced as we go to the top of the ninth by Cam Lanzilli, the junior from Stoneham, Massachusetts. He is making appearance number 20 of the season. That ties in for the team lead with Joey Favetta. He's got a record of 2-0, 6.67 ERA. 28 in the third innings pitched, given up 38 hits, 26 runs, 21 earned, walked 19, struck out 18, and opponents hit 311 against him. I think that's Miller. Yeah, it's Miller. Matt Miller also into the game for Eckerd behind the plate. It's Earhart, Miller, and Bragg due up for Tampa at the top of the eighth. We'll see how many of them actually come to the plate or pinch hit for. Miller, or rather Earhart, will come to the plate. And the first pitch from Lanzilli is outside, ball one. Looking around to see if we have any other defensive replacements. Doesn't look like it. Lanzilli working quickly, goes outside again. This time Earhart swings and misses, 1-1. Miller replaces Calandra behind the plate. Lanzilli on the mound. Everybody else remains the same defensively for the Tritons. Lanzilli goes inside but misses low, ball two. Miller due up next. There's a grounder hit hard to Torres at third, down to one knee, makes the play, and across to Don at first for out number one. And Miller does stay in. He'll come to the plate here with one out, bases empty. He's 0 for 3 today with a walk and a run scored. And some activity down in the Tampa bullpen. First pitch misses for ball one to Miller. Now the 1-0 down and in, ball two. Kalea went 3 innings, gave up 2 hits. Probably be replaced as we go to the ninth, the top of the ninth. There's a line drive, base hit back up the middle by Miller as he has now recorded a base hit in every game this series. 13th hit of the day for the Spartans. He's aboard with 1 out for a pinch hitter for Harrison Bragg. This is Chris Gaffney. Gaffney, a 5'10" senior from Holtzville, New York. First pitch in for a called strike one. Gaffney 5 for 29 this season, 5 runs batted in. He pinch hits for Harrison Bragg, who goes 1 for 2 today with a run scored and an RBI. In the dirt on the 0-1. Zilli works from the third base side of the rubber. Goes Goes off speed and has Gaffney out in front, 1-2. Chopper foul down the third base line as Gaffney stays alive with a 1-2 count. Hey, here's one ball. Anzilli from the stretch, a check to the runner at first, now kicks and fires. Over but low, ball 2. And the 2-2 misses down and in. Count has now run full to Chris Gaffney. Danny Servin due up next, and it appears that he is in the on-deck circle with a bat in hand. Payoff pitch. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. First strikeout of the day for Lanzilli and the first strikeout for Eckerd. 2 gone now for Servin. Servin's had a big day at the plate, 3 for 4, 3 singles, 3 RBIs. First pitch, breaking ball downstairs for ball 1. Don not holding Earhart, or rather Miller, on at first. He's playing back behind him near the grass. There's a grounder back up the middle, right to Acuff with a foot on the bag. He fields it and records the 3rd out of the inning. So Tampa gets a base runner on the single by Miller, but strands him, and we go to what might be the final half inning here of the season at the Turley Athletic Complex, with the Tridents trailing Tampa by the score of 8-1. We're going to hope the rain holds off as we go to the bottom of the ninth. Just got an update from Bill Skip Matthews over at Tropicana Field. Or maybe he's at home. I'm not sure. He says it's pouring here wherever he is. He should be over at the Rays. The Rays are in action right now. That's not too far from where we are here at Eckerd College. I hope it holds off so we can get this game finished. First pitch on the way from Christian Kalea to Keith Levitt Jr. is a strike at the knees. Levitt Jr. 1 for 3 today with an RBI single in the first. 1-1 as that pitch from Kalea scoots away from the catcher, Servin. Cole Perry comes into the game as a defensive replacement at first base for Gaffney, who pinch hit for Bragg. There's a grounder. The third gets just underneath a diving Darren Miller and into left field for a base hit. Second hit of the day for Levitt Jr. Puts him aboard with nobody out for Chase Acuff. Jr. leads away from first. Was caught stealing in the first inning. Doubt he'll be running here, as the first pitch is over but low for ball one from Kalea to Acuff. Acuff 1 for 3 today, getting his first hit of the series. No activity down in the Tampa bullpen. There was in the top half of the inning, so Kalea may just be allowed to finish, barring getting in any trouble. There's a grounder to second. Galley shuffles it to Earhart for one and across to first for out number 2. So the leadoff single quickly erased on the 6-4-3 double play. And the Tritons now down to their final out of 2018. It'll be Shane Leemaster, who's 1 for 2 with a walk. This game started at 1:03. It's 3:19 right now. Be one of the fastest games we've had all year. First pitch swinging. Leemaster fouls that one off out of play. There's a called strike on the outside corner, 0-2. Now Eckerd down to its final strike. Fastball sails high for ball one. Swing and a miss, strike three. No, it foul tipped and pops out of the glove of Servin, as it was in Servin's glove on the foul tip by Leemaster, but popped out, so Shane stays alive. Slow roller to first base, Perry tosses it to Kalea, covering the bag, and beats Leemaster by a step for out number 3. And with that ground out, scored 3-1, and that brings the season to an end for Eckerd baseball. 8-1 the final score as Tampa sweeps the series and proves to 38-7 on the year, 26-1 in conference play. The Tritons close the 2018 season with a record of 22-27 overall, 10-20 in Sunshine State Conference play. Win goes to Shane Beckel, 2-2 on the season. Allen takes the loss as he falls to 4-5 on the year. 8 runs on 13 hits and an error for the Spartans. 1 run on 6 hits and no errors for the Tritons. Eckerd scored a run in the bottom of the first on a 2-out RBI single by Keith Levitt Jr., but it was zeros across the board the rest of the way. Spartans got 1 in the second to tie the game, 1 in the third to go on top, then added 4 more in the fifth and 2 in the seventh on the way to the 8-1 victory. Hyatt and Levitt Jr. lead Eckerd at the plate. They both go 2 for 4. 3 hits apiece for Drew Earhart and Danny Servin for the Spartans. They both had 3 RBIs as well. Once again, thank you very much for tuning in to Eckerd baseball this season on the Triton Sports Network and to all of our games across the board on the Triton Sports Network. We were very pleased to be able to bring those to you for free for the first time ever, or first time in a long time at the very least this year, and that will continue as we go into the future, and we hope to continue to increase the production values of the broadcasts we bring to you as well. Also, personally, a thank you to all of you who have taken the time to compliment me on the work of the broadcast this year. It is very much appreciated to hear your positive compliments. That does it here from the Turley Athletic Complex for all of our broadcasts in the 2017-18 season. Triton Volleyball will be back on the air with Triton Volleyball in the third weekend of August as they get started a week earlier than normal with the annual Eckerd College Invitational. More information on that will be available closer to time, of course, at EckerdTritons.com. And for our fall sports, we'll have those schedules online pretty soon as well at EckerdTritons.com. Hey, great rest of the weekend for what's remaining to everybody out there, and hope you all have a fantastic summer. We'll see you again in August here on the Triton Sports Network.